So here we are, map number 2 of this best of 3. Frost is going to be the host of this second game, and spawning up in the top left hand position as the green Terran player, representing ZvT Gaming, uThermal. His opponent to the top right, currently 1-0 up in this best of 3. He represents Team Evil Geniuses. It's Jaedong. Fun times are bound to be had. uThermal, of course, being down a game in a best of 3, has to win this if he has any hope of advancing forward into the semi-finals. And what's he playing for? What are they both playing for? It's points in order to qualify for the €600 monthly finals of Go for SC2. Keeping an eye on the bracket to try and see who these two may be playing up against. Although this quarterfinal is quite a long way ahead of the other one that feeds in, so not too much else to talk about. uThermal coming out with a very early SCV. Going to be going CC first though, nothing too scary because he's banked up a lot of minerals, so it's not like he's doing anything absolutely crazy. Now, Jaedong hatching first. Frost is a big 4-player map, feeling safe that he's not going to get cheesed, and he's also a game up, so should be feeling relatively confident and can start playing not necessarily a more risky game, but a less safe game. What that means for uThermal though is Jaedong is approaching his max power, and that's going to be scary times because Jaedong is pretty scary most of the time. Spawning pool, extractor coming down. Meanwhile, uThermal adding in the barracks and gas after the CC first. Both players going very economical so far this game. uThermal doing his utmost to scout, but unfortunately getting the worst luck in the history of StarCraft 2. Checks to the bottom right, checks to the bottom left, and Jaedong spawns in the top right. Gas coming through nicely still, barracks nearly done. CC is also approaching finished. Double Queen production coming through for Jaedong now. Jaedong going to be looking to get some early scouting information with these overlords. Find out where his opponent spawned, what kind of build he's going for. And the most important thing is that you've got all the information about what your opponent's build is. Kind of long term, is it more of a mech style play? Are the Hellions going to be coming at you? Are there any Cloak Banshee? Yeah, they're a lot less common nowadays, but still something to be keeping an eye out for. Meanwhile, factory coming down, so Hellions going to be on the cards most likely. Bunker also at the front for uThermal, just to keep himself safe in case Jaedong was going for a little bit of prodding with some lings. And that's something Jaedong hasn't been afraid to do in previous games this evening. Even up against Terran, more than happy to just get a fair few lings out, 6 to 10, and just try his luck. See if his opponent's been a bit too greedy. Not too much else really going on either side. Both players just being relatively passive for now. Third CC coming down from uThermal, playing pretty much as greedy as you can be. Jaedong also simply droning up pretty much to the max. Got those 4 queens down on the field, so his creep spread again, likely to be looking good, and he moves down now to take that third hatchery. These 2 lings down the front, really important positioning. And the reason for that is Frost doesn't really have any dead space that you can position, or high ground that you can position an overlord outside the natural, so putting these 2 lings just gives Jaedong advanced notice into whether or not there's going to be any Hellions coming across at him, or any kind of pushes hitting him early, and therefore he'll have plenty of time to use any lava that are out on the field in order to get up a defensive force nice and fast. So the lings now back away. They've seen the 2 Hellions coming across. Third and fourth Hellion coming through as well. We've got obviously this third CC nearly finished up now for uThermal. These 2 Hellions really won't be very threatening to Jaedong. He's got more than enough stuff out in order to defend this just in the queens. It's only if more start coming across there will be a problem. We've also got, obviously, the Roach one coming down the double Evo chambers, creating a nice little choke into the natural base. So if there is a big commitment to Hellions off the back of this, then it should be absolutely fine in order to deal with it. Jaedong adding in 6 roaches now may actually get a little aggressive with this. That's a lot of roaches to be getting out purely to defend against Hellions, unless he's expecting some kind of really big play. But with the Overlord coming through, he's seen the 3rd orbital command, should know that that isn't going to be the case. He may actually be trying to punish that really greedy 3rd by just putting on some pressure of his own. These roaches moving forward now. If they do go and harass, probably won't achieve too much. There is a marauder around the bunker at the front, which should shut down most of the pressure. But Jaedong still sitting here, just droning pretty heavily, up to 59 workers now, 8 more on the way through. Going to be looking to saturate all 3 bases as fast as he can, while moving up into lair tech. uThermal, just as in game number 1, is being very cautious with these Hellions. Not overcommitting, not attempting to get tons of damage down or get masses of drone kills. Instead just looking to keep them alive for as long as he can. They're just happy to pick off one of the drones and back away before the Hellions get into position. Before the roaches get in position to kill the Hellions. So that's all looking good. uThermal siding with caution, which isn't a bad thing up against Jaedong. If he overcommits and makes the wrong commitment, that can quickly turn into a counter-attack, and then boom, you're dead. Baneling Nest coming through, again for Jaedong. This is a little bit earlier than what we saw in game number 1. In game number 1, he waited until the lair was finished and the Spire was already on its way. Roaches, though, now pushing through. We got 12 Lings coming out as well. The 1-1 melee upgrades. SCVs and Mules retreating away in anticipation that these roaches could actually be trying to deal some damage. But since they're not coming, this is a big overreaction from uThermal. Maybe just attempting to be a little bit too safe. Just a single SCV standing watch to say, okay, is there actually a push coming? And the answer is no. There will be, but it's not yet. There's no way for uThermal to know it's coming yet. So he transfers these SCVs back down now in order to keep things ticking along. But this is starting to get a very large amount of units down on the field. The roaches... Where even are the roaches? Okay, they're still sitting by this watchtower. Gonna see uThermal moving forward, but there's a lot of Lings there. No Banelings as of yet. The Hellions starting off getting some decent hits, but get surrounded, as does all of the infantry. There is so many Zerglings there, and with the roaches backing them up, uThermal has to pick up and back out of there. Doesn't want to take any additional damage. Still mining quite heavily from his 3rd base. He's up at 67 SCVs compared to 70 drones. The factory, yet again, being floated over in order to get that scout down. Get to know timings of things like the Spire, if there's a macro hatch, and just any units that may be still sitting around trying to get something sneaky done. Both players currently at the 1-1 upgrades. Scans coming down just to get a little bit of information about what's this watchtower, how many units are amassing there. Is there an attack coming anytime soon? Probably not. Jaedong just looking comfortable just to get up as many units as he can. Morphing in some Banelings though, and this is where the aggression is going to be coming. And uThermal knows it. He's got a scan down. Absolutely perfect. In comes the pressure. Are the splits going to be good enough? The bunkers will not complete in time. There's so many Banelings here yet again for Jaedong. And he just starts moving up. Crushing through all of those Marines. Some big hits on the ramp. The roaches, the Zerglings, the Banelings still coming through. uThermal clearly not happy about that defeat. And Jaedong advances forward into the semi-finals 2-0.